it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your June 2020 mid-month general reading. We are looking at the last half of June, and this reading is for the earth sign of Virgo. Hi everyone, welcome. I hope you're safe, well, sane, relatively. And I know there's just been so much going on the last few months, right? I mean, we have the virus, pandemic, panic, quarantine, everything gets shut down, finances go to hell, politics, protests, underlying fear and anxiety and concern for the future, and it seems like the world has gone mad. So I hope everyone is taking at least a little bit of time each day to do something distracting and pleasurable to kind of help keep our mental health more or less as even as possible. And thanks to all of you who continue to support this channel, liking, sharing, subscribing, donating, or just taking the time to tune in. It is all welcome and appreciated. Thank you so much. So, this reading is for Virgo. That's Virgo Sun, Moon, Rising, if your Venus is in Virgo, if you're cross-watching for Virgo, for the last 2 weeks of June. General readings, of course, mean something a little different, resonate a little differently for everyone who watches, because there's so many of you watching. Watch all of your signs if you know them. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, they can each bring in little pieces of information which add to kind of giving you a little bit of clarity into what's going on in your life. If any of the readings do resonate with you, you'd like to reach out for a personal reading, get information about that, take a deeper look at something, click on the description link below. You'll see info, my contact details. Email me at maggie1maguire@gmail.com. I can usually get back to you within the same day or the first 24 hours. Scheduling is pretty good too. I do readings full time. It's all that I do. So I work pretty hard at getting those readings set up as quickly as possible. So if you're interested, email me. I'd be happy to hear from you. All right, enough of all that. Let's move right into your reading, Virgo. I am using Virgo, Legacy of the Divine Tarot. Okay, we begin with the King of Coins, followed by Faith, also known as the Hierophant or the Pope in other decks. The Five of Wands, followed by the Hanging Man. From the bottom of the deck, overall energy focus for the last half of June is the Knight of Cups. This looks kind of similar to your sister sign, Taurus. I often find that in the monthly and bi-monthly readings, not always, but often, where signed of a particular element, fire, earth, water, and air, will have similar themes to each of the three signs under that element. And this one feels kind of like it may have a similar theme to Taurus. Taurus's June mid-month reading. So we're going to clarify. Yeah, it looks like there is an offer or the consideration of an offer on the table, whether there's one coming in or you're thinking of extending one outwards, something which has its basis or hope of stability and groundedness, and whether or not you can bring balance to a situation that's hanging in the balance but not knowing if it's worth pushing through, or how much time it will take and if it's worth it. Like a staying or going sort of thing. And trying to have faith and balance within the situation, relationship, the thing. So let's clarify. Although it feels, Virgo, like you have a little bit more of a stable, grounded sense that there is hope in this than Taurus did. Taurus, it felt like it was struggling a little bit more. So let's clarify this Knight of Cups. So this Knight of Cups is the Knight of Water. That's the element which governs the Suit of Cups. It's emotional energy. So the Knight of Cups, Knights are always known for charging in. This Knight of Cups charges in with his cup of love, support, encouragement, wearing his heart on his sleeve, splattering his feelings all over the place. An idealist, in love with love itself, always hopeful and positive of the best possible outcome. Sometimes the Knight of Cups has a challenge in the long-term follow-through, the real blood and gut and sweat of the work. But this is an offer, an opportunity, because that's what Knights represent. The speed, the situations move, and offers and opportunities, incoming or outgoing. So there's an offer coming in or an offer going out. Let's clarify it. An offer of what? An opportunity for what? It's emotional. What does it hold? Okay, a jumper. Temperance, yep. Balance, restoration. Taking opposite extremes and staying in the middle and balancing them in unison and harmony. Which is not a sudden sort of thing. Temperance, just like in the culinary world, to temper something means to take two things, each of opposite temperature, and bring them together into this lovely amalgamous marriage and mixture. But you can't do that all of a sudden with two extremes, two opposites, because it's too much too fast. So you have to add one to the other in small increments over a period of time so that, it blends together. That's balance. My other analogy for temperance is standing in the middle of a seesaw or teeter-totter. The outside arms being things you can't control. Other people, other people's choices, sometimes your own feelings and emotions, but staying in the middle, staying grounded in who you are, what you know to be right and true, so that you don't get pulled out on those arms where you're going to lose your balance because you can't control them, right? So that's temperance. So there's an offer. So this emotional offer is about balance, bringing balance and harmony to a situation. Maybe an offer to, because temperance takes time and it's not a static thing once you get there, because there's all kinds of things always going on that we can't control. I mean, look at the world today, right? So this is about kind of staying in your own truth and your own balance, so that you don't get pulled into and sucked into other bits of drama and things we can't control and lose your balance, right? So this is an offer of normalizing, and you have to keep kind of shifting in the middle to kind of adjust for the things you can't control, right? So that's incoming. We have the King of Coins and Faith. Faith is called Faith in this deck. Cyril Marchetti went a little more nebular here with Faith, where it's usually referred to as the Hierophant or the Pope, and it has more specific overtones of certain specific religious paths. Here we have the four main ones, right? So it's more about faith itself rather than a specific organized religious or conventional established path. So we have the King of Coins, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, likely your energy, although it could be another Earth sign. This is the King of Earth, the King of Stability. This is somebody who has worked hard to get to where they're at. They enjoy it. They enjoy having nice things, those nice things around them. They have worked hard to get there. They're generous. They feel other people ought to have the same opportunities. They like good things. They like a comfortable life. They are not above being self-indulgent and expressive with material things, because that's part of who they are. And then we have faith, which is convention, tradition, the prescribed path. Large organizations, institutions doing the same basic thing that everybody else does in large groups, right? Because the sacrifice in faith is, sometimes there is a certain amount of self-sacrifice in adhering to a certain set of rules for the general, because maybe you have to give up your own little bit of individuality or self-expression. Not totally, of course, that's not good, but to go along, the perks being that you have the protection and shelter and family of being under that umbrella with a bunch of other people. So going basically along with that. So these first two cards really Virgo, are about being grounded, staying stable, staying rooted in your faith, your culture, your tradition. You might be the one maybe offering stability and kind of rebalancing things out, or it might be an offer coming into you. Because we have here, we have the Five of Wands, which is conflict, competition, maybe petty as well, conflict within yourself or with a group of people or a combination of both, you know, maybe gossip, rumor mongering, office politics, family drama, but it's fairly petty in nature. It can represent one-upmanship, you know, everybody wanting to be right, everybody wanting to be one. Nobody really out to kill each other, but nobody wants to kind of elevate or, you know, elevate themselves. And so it's like nobody wins, nobody loses, but it's a continuous ongoing thing. Fighting over the same thing over and over again. The Hanging Man accompanies that, watching it play out. The Hanging Man hangs upside down. He does this sometimes to gain knowledge, and that's what he gains from being in such a different, uncomfortable position. It can represent feeling like you're in stasis with no movement, but that's because you're actually watching something play out. Sometimes the combination of this Five of Wands with the Hanging Man represents that your energy is the Hanging Man, Virgo. You're watching a group of people kind of haggle and battle and barracuda petty snipe at each other, and you're just kind of waiting to see what the outcome is. You're not actually jumping in or taking sides or anything like that, because you're waiting to see what the outcome is. You're watching things play out, and you're gaining information while you're watching that. You're gaining new perspective and new information by watching this conflict play out. It looks like you're staying pretty stable, rooted. You may even be this Knight of Cups offering temperance. You may be watching some kind of conflict play out within, I mean, it's a general reading, it's going to be different things. It might be in a work setting, might be in a friendship circle, it might be in a family. You know, it feels like you are not actively involved in the midst of this conflict, because you're kind of like, you're King of Coins and faith and kind of sitting there and watching things play out. But it looks like you are offering or considering coming in and offering to be kind of a stabilizer. What do they call that? There's an actual engineering name, which would not be my forte at all, for the thing that creates some kind of stable. So maybe you're going to offer to be like the stabilizer and try and work things out and even things or mediate things. You could be you could be actively involved in this conflict, but it doesn't feel like you are, because it feels like you're trying not to take sides, even though you're part of this group. And we do have faith here, so it might be conflict within a group, regardless of the nature of that group. There's an offer coming in for stability and normalizing. Why? Why temperance? Let's clarify temperance. What has happened? It's like it looks like something is continuing to play out, but it's based on something that has happened too. I mean, with Taurus, it was like the Ten of Swords, like some big betrayal. Let's see. What is this about? Temperance. Rebalancing of what? What is this conflict about? Ooh. The Tower. Some big, potentially game-changing event came in. Let's see what's behind that. The Seven of Swords. Deception, concealment, lying, trickery, theft. Concealing something. At its most simplistic level, the Seven of Swords can represent hiding something, concealing some kind of knowledge, truth, action, something. Yeah. So again, kind of similar to Taurus. Taurus had like the Nine of Swords and the Ten of Swords, betrayal and stuff. So this could be betrayal too. It looks like there was some kind of Tower card moment or event that happened, maybe within this group. Maybe there was theft, deception, cheating, exploitation, something that feels pretty negative. And there's all this conflict going on now. Can it be resolved? You've been you're trying to like hold your stability here, and maybe you're in charge of some of these people, and you're just kind of watching things play out and watching he said, she said, and all of that kind of stuff. Maybe you're offering to be a stabilizer and a mediator here. Maybe you're considering that, because that's what it's about. It's about rebalancing and renormalizing perhaps a group because of something that's happened in the past. Is it possible or not? Maybe some of you have put this offer on the table. Maybe some of you are considering offering to kind of leave the hanging man position and go in and actively try to, restabilize this thing. Whatever this thing is. It's going to be different for everybody. So let's pull some advice and guidance cards. What's the best thing for, almost said Taurus, what's the best thing for Virgo to do during this time period? What's the best thing for Virgo to do or focus on in order to navigate through this? Seven of Wands, Nine of Wands, very similar to Taurus too. Advice. Seven of Wands is to stand guards, defend, protect, because you have some certain amount of something invested in this, because this is a card that represents you at a 7, have a fair amount of work, time, money, love, effort, whatever, invested in this, and you're defending it because it's being challenged or threatened somehow by all this conflict, competition, maybe stealing, I don't know. And you're guarding it because you have a lot invested. You don't just want to put your wand down and let somebody come in and, raid the house. So this is about standing your ground, standing by what you believe in. And the Nine of Wands is pushing through. Tens represent the circle closing out, a cycle coming to completion. The 9 represents you're close to it, it's hard, you feel discouraged, upset, maybe feel like giving up, but it's pushing through. So, and always under the umbrella of free will, free agency. Spirit is suggesting strongly that you, for the time being, stay the course. This is worth defending, protecting, guarding, kind of upholding some kind of sense of stability. Even though you may feel discouraged, you may feel like giving up, Spirit is strongly supporting a path of staying your ground, holding your ground, and pushing through this. Of course, free will, free agency, right? You can choose not to do that. It's up to you. It's not like the sky's going to fall in if you don't, but this is what, for the majority of you, the general advice is to push through and to defend that which you have a lot invested in already. So Virgo, that is your reading for the last half of June. I hope that you found it helpful or clarifying, that it gave you some food for thought at least. If the reading resonated for you, if any of them do, and you'd like to reach out for a personal reading, information, get a deeper look at something, click on the description link below, click on that little arrow that pulls down info and my contact details, Maggie, the number 1 McGuire at gmail.com. You'll see that there. Feel free to email me directly. I would love to work with you. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the July 2020 general readings. Stay safe and stay well and stay as stable as you can. Don't forget to be kind to yourself and to other people. And I wish you much peace and many blessings, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.